Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and take a look at the Google Pixel 7 and compare it against the iPhone 13 and see which specific phone is the better one for you. And if you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely see there are some key differences for sure. They both have their unique design to say. The Google Pixel 7 on the front has a 6.3-inch AMOLED display, and it's actually a pretty decent phone. Now, the price for this phone is about $599 right now. That's how much I paid for this one. The iPhone 13 is selling for, I think, $699 in the brand new market, but you can also pick it up in the used market for a little bit cheaper than that. And with both of these phones, like with the Pixel 7, you're getting a really decent display. It's a whole bunch display, so we don't have a notch, but it's also a 90 hertz panel. So things refresh a little bit smoother, and I will say it's a pretty good display. It isn't that far off from the Pixel 6, but I don't know, something about it does kind of look to me that it is a little bit of a nicer phone. So that is something that's going for the Pixel 7. On the iPhone 13, this phone came out in 2021, and overall it's a really good looking phone too. So we have a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel on the front, and it is a pretty good looking panel. There's really not too much to hate on it. The only thing is there's two things. One, it's 60 hertz, but it's still a fairly smooth display, so it doesn't seem that bad. But also we have a notch up top that is fairly outdated. We still kind of have like a notch on the newer ones. With the 14 Pro, we have like that, a whole bunch, whatever. But with this one, I don't really think it looks too bad, and I will say it still looks pretty good in this day and age. Now, in terms of thickness and thickness and the rest of the body, there's really not a whole lot else going on, if I'm being honest. We both kind of have like a flat slash curved side on the Pixel 7. It kind of like is flat for some of it, then it kind of curves. With the iPhone 13, it's completely flat. We have the volume buttons here, but they're on the other side of the Pixel 7. They both have SIM card trays, actually in around the same spot, which is very interesting. It's a little bit higher on the Pixel 7, but still very cool. And they both have, well, the Pixel 7 has a USB Type-C port on the bottom. The iPhone 13 has a Lightning port with both speakers and grills on the bottom. And on the back, we have very different types of setups on them. So the iPhone 13, we have a dual camera setup, a wide and an ultra-wide camera. On the Pixel 7, we also have a dual camera setup, a wide and ultra-wide camera. They're in two different locations though. This one is diagonal, this one is like flat, but they'll kind of have their unique designs. So with the Pixel 7, it is like this bar up top, which looks pretty good. And we do have like this little cutout for the Pixel 7 camera, which personally I'm a fan of. I think it looks really nice. On the iPhone 13, we're pretty much used to this design, so this one looks pretty good too. Again, there's really not too much to hate on either one of them. I think they're both, have their pros and cons. Now, they both have IP certification, which is really cool. On the iPhone 13, we have wireless charging and the little MagSafe capability here, which is really cool. On the Pixel 7, we have wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, which is really cool. So if I wanted to, I could charge up my iPhone 13 from my Pixel 7. I don't know if I could charge it up 100%, but I could charge it up a little bit, which is really, really nice. So that is a really cool feature as well. And that kind of covers it up on the outside. There's really not a whole lot else kind of going on between these two that are completely different. But I will say, in the software department, we are comparing Android and iOS. So if you like Android, go for the Pixel. If you like iOS, go for the, iPhone 13. But I will say for the most part, Android has been evolving. It's definitely been getting better over time. But for how long both these phones are going to last, I have a feeling they're going to be lasting around the same time. It's tough to tell right now. It seems like Google is only improving the software longevity, and Apple's kind of shortening it a little bit. We're not 100% too sure. Apple could change up a lot of things too. But as of right now, if I had to assume, both of them are probably going to be lasting around the same time. So I wouldn't really pick one phone up over the other just based off the, oh, this phone's going to last longer. And between these two, I don't really know if one's going to last way longer than the other one. So you should probably keep that in mind as well. So that covers it up there. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both of these phones. The Pixel 7 has that Google Tensor G2 chipset inside of it with 8 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 13 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background except for the Pixel 7, so let's clear them out. Okay, let's get into it. Pixel 7 is here, iPhone 13 is here. Phone call is 3, 2, 1. About the same thing, not that big of a difference. Let's do their app stores, 3, 2, 1. Now, the Pixels, in my opinion, always do really, really fast. Any Android phone is going to load up the Pixel or the App Store really fast. Never really understood why. And we can see right here with the Pixel 7 and the iPhone seems a little bit smoother. Also seems like it's kind of loading the application or the little page faster. But we do have the 90 Hz panel on the iPhone on the Pixel 7, which is nice. Camera, 3, 2, 1. I think the iPhone 13 was faster. Let's go and take a photo. And the night mode did actually take a photo faster on the Pixel 7 than on the iPhone 13. Opening up the photo was also faster on the Pixel 7, and both photos look kind of the same. There's really not that big of a difference, I'm being honest. As always, we have a bunch of these third-party applications we can go and open up. Let's do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now, this game is not that big or intensive of a game at all, so it shouldn't really take that long on either one of these phones, to be honest. And you can see almost identically the same between both. Not that big of a difference as far as I can tell here. And this is only just the first game we loaded up, but I think the Pixel 7 was slightly faster there. Hopping out of there, let's get into Thank You 321. Pixel 7 was faster. iPhone 13 a little bit behind. Again, not a big deal, but was faster. Stack 321. And I think the Pixel 7 was faster, although they were loading two different things. Facebook 321. I think I'm logged in here, so I am logged in there, so I'm gonna leave that one out. Let's go and get into Netflix 321. Pixel 7 was faster again. iPhone 13 a little bit behind. Snapchat 321. I might be logged in here, and I was not, so still faster on the Pixel 7. Snake vs. Blocks 321. And the iPhone 13 was actually faster there. So that's very interesting. We're getting some flipping going on. We can try Genshin Impact 321. Now, I've played a lot of heavy intensive games on the iPhone 13 throughout the last year and a half. Some change it's been out. The Pixel 7, I've been doing some gaming too. I did a lot of gaming on the Pixel 6, and both of these phones do really well in the gaming department. These app opening speeds are really the main difference you're going to tell, at least in my opinion. So many games you can go ahead and change graphic profiles to make them slower or faster with better or lower graphics. But we can see right here the iPhone 13 was able to load into this game a little bit faster, but we did get a little glitch hopping out on the iPhone 13. So ultimately what I can tell you is I think both these phones are very fast. I think the Pixel 7 may be a little bit faster here and there sometimes, but I think the iPhone 13 was the faster one, to be honest, when it kind of came down to it. So the Google Tensor chipset, G2 still has a long ways to go in my opinion, but hopefully it'll get improved in a little bit of time. Now in the camera department, the iPhone 13 and the Pixel 7 both have ultra-wide cameras, and they both can do 4K 60 on the front and the back, which is a really, really nice thing to have. Now, I will say between both, we'll start off with the iPhone 13. This is, I guess, a year-old camera as at this point, but this is still a very good phone. Like, this camera is still very, very nice, and for it still being sold by Apple brand new, I still like that ability that you can kind of compare these two and figure out which one you want, because you can just order them online without having to, negotiate with a seller or anything. Now this one you have 5x zoom, but you have 0.5x zoom zooming out too, which is really, really nice. You have photo mode, portrait mode, video mode, cinematic mode, which is like portrait mode. Now the Pixel 7 also has a cinematic mode kind of feature, but both these phones are really good. The iPhone 13, I will say, if you're using a lot more applications like Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram, you're going to be getting a better experience on the iPhone 13. But I will say, both of these phones are very good in the camera department. The Pixel 7 is a very good camera too, don't get me wrong, the Google Tensor chipset and all the software improvements Google's been doing has been improving the software very, very well, and I'm really happy to see that. Now with this one, zooming in, you get 8x zoom, so it's a little bit more than the iPhone 13, but you get 0.7x zoom, so you don't get the same type of zooming out compared to the iPhone 13 with 0.5x zoom, but it's still a fairly good camera for the most part. You still get video mode and portrait mode, but you also get motion mode, which is very interesting, but you also get cinematic mode on the Pixel 7 as well, which is really cool. So that is something that's very, very interesting that I really do like about both these phones. I do feel like the UI on the iPhone 13 is a little bit smoother, it's a little less clunky, but I do feel like the Pixel 7 camera is pretty good as well. I don't know if one's way better, but they're both kind of in the same ballpark. So to kind of sum up this whole entire video, to be honest, I think both these phones are very, very similar. I think with the Pixel 7, for it being $599, a brand new phone, and it being $100 cheaper than the iPhone 13 that's already a year old, I think this is a very, very good phone for the value per dollar. You're getting a little bit of a bigger display. I don't know if it's like a nicer display, but it's definitely a better display with the 90 Hz and hole punch display. You're getting things like reverse wireless charging. Very similar build quality. I think this phone feels a little bit heavier. USB-C, which is really nice, and still a very long-lasting phone and very similar performance between both. On the iPhone 13, this is an iPhone, so you're going to be getting, day one updates, long-lasting support. Both these get day one updates and long-lasting support, but still it's an iPhone. You're getting pretty good build quality, very good build quality for the most part. Very good camera, good battery life. Really, there's not a humongous reason why you would want to probably have one over the other unless you were choosing iOS over Android. But other than that, both these phones are very similar, and both these phones are very, very good as well. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.